I'm going to give you a preview and then show you a few new things, and then we'll get started. So today's project is we're going to decoupage this book, and I've already separated the tissue for it. I base coated the book so that you guys didn't have to watch paint dry. And I have a few tips and tricks on this. And hi, Put. Howdy from Texas. I bet it's as hot there as it is here, but you have humidity and we don't. So, okay. And then we're also going to use this Iod mold. And I am not an Iod retailer, but Iod has fabulous molds. So if you have a retailer and you want to pick one up, these are really cool molds. We're going to do one of these for the binding of the book, and we're going to do it in the quick set amazing casting resin. And to know that you've got the quick set and not the long one, it'll have white resin pieces on it so that you can tell the difference between the two. And I use both all the time. Ooh, 105 and you have humidity. So we're gonna do that. But before we get started, 96 in North Texas. Well, that's not too bad. I honestly don't even know what the temperature is in Arizona. I just don't even look because I don't want to know. So I got some new stuff this week, and maybe you guys have seen the post and maybe you haven't. When I was up in Show Low for the last few weeks, well, actually, I was in Heber Overgaard, but we took one day off from all of our renovations and went to Show Low. And I found some really pretty napkins when I was up there. And this is one of them that we're going to decoupage on the book. But these are great for all kinds of projects. They're really pretty on candles. I got this at one of the thrift stores. Looks like I got it at a Goodwill from the tag. And I'm going to take it apart and take this backing out here and pick one of these tissues and decoupage the inside and put new numbers on, and then refinish the outside on this. So, and this was $4.50 at the Goodwill. So that makes a really cool gift if you want to make something for somebody. And I love being able to repurpose stuff. There's just something about it that is challenging and rewarding all at the same time. So that's one of the tissues. And let me just move it over here so it doesn't get all messed up. This is another one. And you guys, they're all up on the website. And this one's $2.25 because it's one of the hand ones, so it's bigger, which is nice for the larger books that I'm going to be doing. But the rest of them are $2 a piece. And I think they measure 12 by 12, so that's a pretty good size. But I love this one. Purple is my favorite color, and it's got lilacs and bees on it, so how could you go wrong? And sunflowers, because I am a sunflower girl. If you've hung with me for any length of time, you know I'm a sunflower girl. And then this is succulents and eucalyptus and succulents. And I thought this would also pair well with the Dixie Belle succulent transfer. So I thought those were really pretty, and they're only $2, and they are up on the website. So if you're interested in any of those, get on there. Also, some of my Christmas decoupage tissue came in just the other day, and I am super, super excited about it. So I wanted to show you guys real quick. So first of all, here locally, I'm doing Christmas in July. So all of the classes and all the projects have been Christmas projects for the whole month of July. But a lot of people who create for craft fairs and holidays get started now. And if you've been in Hobby Lobby and Michael's, they've got all their Christmas, all of their pumpkins, all of their stuff out. Hi, Kathy. Yay! So here's one, and I've got a really, really cool class that's going to be an online class. So no matter where you live, you can take the class, and it will be using these big sheets of Santas, and that's why I designed them. These are the old-fashioned vintage Santa Claus that were on cards back in the 40s and the 50s. These are vintage. And the printer cut off the top of his hat, so I have to call them and have them rerun them. But this is one of them, and it's got the little dolly sitting down here, and it says Merry Christmas at the bottom. Super pretty. The colors on them are fabulous. And the decoupage sheets are $7 each. And then there's this one. And these are super hard to find, you guys, in good condition that are printable, reprintable. But I love this one, the Santa with a Christmas tree. I mean, he really looks like an old Saint Nick, and his bag of toys and his long, heavy coat. Let me see if you guys are getting a good view of the whole guy. He's just beautiful. Thanks, Kathy. I just love these, and the project that I'm going to do online, I wanted to do last year, and I couldn't find any of these Santas, and I searched and searched and searched, and then I found one, and then the same resource for the one turned out to have a few more. And so I have 4 different Santas right now, but I think I might have a 5th for people to choose from for this project. And this is one of them, and I love this one. It's got 2 angels. I got to get him in camera there for you. 2 angels down at his feet. He's got his bag thrown over his shoulder. One angel has a basket of apples, and the other angel looks like picking up a book and some apples, bent over. They're super sweet, and it says Joyful Yuletide at the bottom. And so I hope you guys are getting a good view of this. But these are all up on the website also. I have to get up on my tippy toes. But you're just going to have to wait, because I'm not ready to make the announcement yet of what the project is going to be. I don't want to make that announcement until it's all done, and I am in the process of getting mine done. But if the big sheets aren't your cup of tea, then I have something for you. I have one sheet, and all of these sheets I've been showing you are decoupage sheets, and they're 20 by 30, 18-pound paper. But this one has all 4 of the Santas on it. And then this Santa is my favorite. He's the one that started the whole thing. And then it has this Santa with the angels on it. So all 4 of these are on one sheet. So this is a nice size project sheet. And then I'm super excited about this too. You guys, are so much fun coming up with these ideas and designing them, and then waiting, just like for Christmas, for them to show up in the mail. So this one I also designed with a project in mind that I wanted to do last year, and again I ran out of time, and thanks Put. I ran out of time, and I also couldn't find the paper that I really wanted for this project. So I designed these, and then was able to, wait for it, duplicate the same exact buffalo check that's on the deer and the elk. And then I gave a bonus one in here. And then this is the same plaid that's on the Christmas trees. And there's more of it at the bottom. So you get all of this on one sheet for your Christmas projects. Hi, Micheline. Hi, Lynn. I'm glad you caught me live too. You have a book stack you want to do? Great, because that's what we're going to get started on. But you guys, isn't this awesome that there's a whole sheet 20 by 30 of this, but you can get the companion sheet to go with it. And I will tell you what I have in mind for this one. I wanted to do it last year, and like I said, I couldn't find the parts to it, but it's a wooden Christmas tree, and it's wood slats like this with a stand at the bottom. And each slat coming out has a different pattern on it. And I really wanted to do that last year. Like I said, I couldn't find the tree that I wanted, and I couldn't find the paper, so it didn't happen, but it's going to happen this year. And 2 more. So if any of you have seen in the Deborah Bucher Designs tissues, there's one in there that has a bee and all kinds of grunge gears stuff on it. And I love the colors and the background of this piece. And so I decided to just do one that just had just the background. And I don't know if you guys are getting a good, it's really hard to hold this up so you can see everything. But there is a lot of color on this. Thanks, Peggy. I appreciate that so much, because you guys have lots and lots of choices out there. So I just kind of design what I want for my own projects. I have a really neat, oh, I'll show you. Here it is. So I got this clock. It weighs a ton, you guys. It's metal, it's super heavy. But I got this clock at the Goodwill for $8.50. And this was at the fancy Goodwill. Yeah, I got some Savvy Sisters on here. This was at the fancy Goodwill. This was over by where Debbie lives. And I'm not kidding, this probably weighs 20 pounds. It's heavy. But again, I was going to decoupage all of this with this tissue paper, and then use some of the gilding wax and some of the Posh pigments to embellish it with. So that's why I decided I just wanted that background paper. So that's a future project. And then one more to share with you guys. If any of you were watching all of the renovations up in Heber Overgaard at my daughter's cabin, then you saw the black dresser that I did in the bear room. The room that, thanks for the hearts, you guys. Yeah, you gotta love these sisters. But this is paper that I designed. There was a pillow on my daughter's bed that was a black background pillow with a white bear in the center of it. And my daughter wanted to have me decoupage the insides of the drawer that we painted up there, the chest of drawers. It was a mid-century chest. And if you didn't see it, you can go back a little bit, a week or two, and find it. So I designed this paper, and I asked her if she cared if I put paw prints, bare paw prints on it. And she said no, she didn't care. But can you imagine how surprised, hi Carol, how surprised the guests will be when they open up those drawers, and first of all, it's freshly painted and clean, but when they open up those drawers in an Airbnb and find they're all wallpapered or tissue papered on the inside with a design that matches that room, I think that they will just be thrilled. So I hope they will be anyway. So anyway, I just wanted to share all that stuff with you because it just all arrived this week. And it's all up on the website, so don't wait too long. I'll be placing another order, but don't wait too long. Okay, so let's get busy on doing our stack of books. And I'm going to do this design on this mold for one book. I'm sure that's all we'll get through today. Miss Shalene, you're going to have to watch the replay. Well, please do. And thanks for popping on here. And like I said, we're going to use the white resin. And it'll say on the box, turns white and cures in 10 minutes. And they mean it. They mean 10 minutes. So I'm going to put the camera down. Okay, I think I have it. Let's see. Yep, I think that's good. I'm going to put a piece of tape down so I keep this in your view. Okay, so my label is coming off of this. Now, when I want something really, really fast, that's when I do the white. And I prefer using the long set because this is kind of stressful, you guys, this fast setting one, because when I say fast, I'm not kidding. I've had it set up in my cup on me more than one time. All right, so it comes with these little plastic cups, and most of the time I use my silicone cups, but I'm using such a small amount on this pour today that I'm just going to use my little silicone cup. And it comes with two little stir sticks. Each bottle is labeled A and B, A side, B side. Yes, it is. And IOD, I don't know if Prima has started doing this or not, but IOD puts in very small letters along the edge how many milliliters you need. So that's awesome. It's just on this end. So that's awesome that you know exactly ahead of time how much resin to be pouring. And this is going to take 16 milliliters. And I can get both of those poured in this little cup. And I took my little pen and I marked them off on here so that they would be easier to see. So I'll pour part A first, and then I'll fill up to the marking for part B. Stir for 1 minute. And you guys, I always recommend, because this is what I do myself, and maybe your brain works better than mine, but the two resins, the long setting and the fast setting, are completely different. I mean, you do part A, part B of equal amounts. That's the same. But the setup time is completely different on both of them. And so I always just refresh my memory about how much time I have working with this, because like I said, this one sets up super fast. And I've had it set up in my cup before I got it all poured. And so I reread this, and the instructions are mix the two sides thoroughly for 30 seconds. Not 35, not 40 seconds, 30 seconds, you guys, until a clear yellow liquid is achieved with no swirls. And then, by golly, you better start pouring. So have your molds and everything ready to go. And this is clean. It's had clay in it. I made sure that it was cleaned and dried before today. So I'm going to start pouring this. It needs just a dash more, and it's super important, you guys, to get the exact amount of A and the exact amount of B. Kathy did a beautiful headboard. And you can see that there's swirls in there, and we only want to stir for 30 seconds until those swirls are gone. So I'm going to stir like a crazy person here. And like I said, you don't want to go past your 30 seconds, and I don't have a timer here, but it looks like those swirls are gone. So it's time to pour. And I'm using this mold. And that filled it perfectly, you guys. That's awesome. I love that Iod has put those measurements on there, because I always would tell people in the past to have several molds ready to go, so that if you had leftover resin, you had those molds ready to go, so you weren't wasting any of your resin. So the reason why I started with this first is it's not going to take long. It's going to set up within 10 minutes, and then we can unmold it. And the way that you know that it's working and setting up is that it's going to start turning white, like the white pieces on the front of the box. And the larger amount of it that you're using, like if I was using one of these cups or one of this big silicone cup, and I got these off of Amazon. These are great cups. They're fast and easy for cleanup. But if I was using one of these cups for it, you would feel the heat as you were stirring it. And if you start to feel heat, you better start pouring, because it's setting up. And I know you probably can't see it, but I can see already that it's starting to set up in there. So you guys, I have, while we wait on that, I have 3 books that I base coated, and they still need a little bit. Well, this one doesn't, but This one does. This is the big one. Well, I guess this one's okay too. I just need to go in here and touch up these edges so that you don't see the binding color on here. And then this one had blue on the inside, and I just need to take a detail brush, but I ran out of time getting these base coated for you guys. Let's see. There you can see. So that's just one of those details I need to get taken care of. But while we're, can you guys see how that's turning white? Very quickly. And when the whole thing is white, then we'll pop it out of there. I did want to demonstrate a trick. These napkins come in 3 plies. I'm going to scoot this out of the way. And I used to struggle with them trying to get the 3 plies off, because you don't want a decoupage with all 3 plies. You only want the one that has the color on it. And when I was struggling with one doing candles last year, somebody said, well, if you just put a piece of tape on the back of it and pull that out, I just want to make sure you guys are in camera, then that ply comes off really simple. And I was like, oh, that's a really cool trick. And it does. Hi, Lois. Thanks for joining us. I'm so happy to see you guys because since Facebook has made yet another change, I wasn't sure if anybody would show up today. And also, if you get another invite from me, because it also, anytime somebody comments on any of my posts, then I'm going to pull off the second ply, you guys. Then it tells me to invite you to my page, and I'm like, I know these people are already on my page, but I've started sending out invites again. So if you get another invite, I'm not crazy. I know you're on my page, but Facebook is telling me to do that. And I want to make sure I don't lose any of my followers. I've had to work too hard to get you guys. And just so you know, I do a lot of posting on YouTube, and there's new content on there. I do move over the Facebook Lives, but there's also new content on there that isn't on Facebook, and I load up new content every single week. So if you guys would go to my YouTube page and subscribe, that would be really awesome. And for some reason, YouTube has 2 pages, and one has 7 subscribers, and then one has, like, I think it's about 175. Please subscribe to the 175 page. I don't know. I never set up a second account, so I don't know how that ever happened. But I'm working really hard on my YouTube because I feel like Facebook is so full of tricks that I just don't trust them. And so you saw, first of all, you saw how easy that was using the tape to separate those layers. And when you're decoupaging, you only want 1 layer. Okay. So let's see if it's time to unmold. I can feel the heat, like when I put my hand underneath here, I can feel the heat underneath it. And if you unmold them like right away like this, they're still flexible enough that you can bend them around and cut them. Got some gooey down here. So we have this really pretty piece that can be painted, and it can have gilding wax on it, or it can have the Posh pigments on it. It can be really fancy. And the book that I'm planning on putting this on today and decoupaging is this book. So it's going to go on the binder like this, and I need to cut off this end down here. So while it's soft and pliable is a good time to cut it off. And I'm just going to take my scissors. Boom. That's done. Pretty, huh? And so it just needs to get glued on there, but I don't want to glue it on until I get my book decoupaged. So I'm going to set it down there, and we'll start decoupaging the book. And I chose to use this napkin, which I think is super pretty. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Peggy. Thanks, Lynn. I love it that you gals are here. So I was checking out this book, and this is the smaller of the books that I pulled out because I wanted my books to be, I didn't want them all to be the same size. I wanted them to stack up. And, you know, you could take one of those molds and do a pretty piece for the book that's going to be on the top and just put it right on the top also. Okay, so when I measured this out, I had just a skosh of an edge there, and then I end up with just a skosh to turn in underneath on this side. So I think I want, since this is the top of the book, I think I want, what was the name of this book? This is a John Steinbeck book, The Winter of Our Discontent. Kind of a cool book. So I'm going to give myself just a little bit more of an edge. It's really a tight fit. And that gives me just the right amount to roll over on this side. And then you want to be sure of where you have all of your flowers positioned, or if they are in the place that you want them. And they are. So just to make this easier, I'm going to trim off some of this paper. I don't want to get crazy with it, but I don't need all of this paper. And I'm not going to throw this away. I have something else to share with you guys before I get any further. So some of you may know what artist calling cards are, ATCs, but I'm going to Roy Cycle's retreat in August, and we're all exchanging calling cards. So I made a stencil for the back of this, and what these are is I've taped together 8 playing cards so that I had a canvas to work from, and I could make these cards individual and paint them all at one time, like do this all at one time instead of each card individually. And then I will take my scissors and cut them all apart. But I'm not quite ready to do that on this set of cards yet, because I'm going to put the 2-step crackle on this. But I dug through all of my decoupage tissues that I have pieces left over, and used them to embellish this, and a lot of them are Roy Cycle, so I thought it was fun to put these on these cards. And Here is one that hasn't been painted, and you can see where I just used washi tape to connect them, and front and back, and I put 2 coats of slick stick on them so that it would camouflage what was already on the cards, and you can see what was there. But by the time I paint them, and so each set will have a different theme to it. So this was one theme, and then each one of these will have a different theme. And we will exchange these with all the other artists that are at the retreat. So that'll be a really fun thing to do and a really fun keepsake. And it was really fun to be able to use some of those scraps. I have a box down here underneath the dresser that is full of scraps, and this will just go in there because even the littlest piece is usable. And then, you guys, I have, you know, my booth, which I've been told not to call it a booth. I've been told to call it my studio. There are 39 working artists there. And they teach a lot of classes. I teach a lot of classes. If you live here locally, I would really recommend that you check it out because there are some awesome classes. And I'm taking a collage class from one of the really wonderful artists there tomorrow, and I'm super excited about it. She does amazing collage. And that's something that I want to understand and get better at. I do have a lot of fun doing the collage pieces that I've done, like that, what did the fox say? The fox in the suit is one of my favorite pieces I've ever created. And he was only the second collage piece I'd ever done. Okay, so that gets some of that excess off. And I want to be sure I have you guys in the camera. It looks like I do. So I'm just going to lay this back. Set my bottle on it so it's not flying up. And get my satin top coat. You guys, I'm a retailer for Dixie Belle. And I like to use the satin top coat. And I'm also a retailer for Wise Owl. And they have a varnish that's amazing. And they also have a 1 hour enamel top coat that sets up in 1 hour and cures 90% in that 1 hour. So that's pretty incredible, you guys. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the advantage is Mod Podge is not archival. And I see so many artisans, crafters, creators still using Mod Podge. And I just cringe because they do beautiful work, but it's not archival. And over time, it is going to crack and yellow. And that just makes me really sad. Okay, so this is my anchor coat. And you guys, I forgot to get a piece of plastic wrap. Let me see if I have one stashed away in here. I'm gonna have to go get a piece because I don't want to risk tearing this. Sorry. So sorry. I'm coming, I'm coming. Okay. And using these napkins, they're a lot finer and more fragile than the tissue paper is. Because that's 18-pound tissue paper that I sell, you guys. It's very forgiving. And napkins are not forgiving. But they come in such beautiful designs. Okay, so now that I have my anchor piece down, I'm going to lift up this paper and start working from this direction. And I like to offload my brush away from the crease and then work up to it so that I don't get a big glob of product underneath there. And especially as fine and thin as this tissue is, it would show up. Put on a nice smooth coat, then carefully lay your tissue back down. And I like to start in the middle and work my way out. And you saw what a small section I do each time. I just love this paper. I think it's such a pretty design, and it's Michael Works is the designer, and all of those napkins I showed you are his designs. I think they're really pretty. And I have some other fun ones on order too. So I'm just going to lay it back down again. And offload away from that crease. I'll check for questions in just a minute, you guys. And if I've missed any, I'll go back over them before we're done here. And the reason for the saran wrap, if you haven't done this before, is, you know, your fingerprint has a lot of texture to it. And it puts too much tension on decoupage tissue. You think your fingertips are smooth, but they're not. There's a lot of texture, and they will tear your paper, especially if it's a paper as fragile as this is. So we've just got this little lip here. Although they're getting harder to find because so many people just specialize in them. And don't be fooled, even though a jewelry box is as a small miniature furniture piece, there's just as much work going into a jewelry box, sometimes more than a large piece of furniture. Okay, so that indent is in there nicely. I have my ceiling fan going, so it creates a bit of a breeze in here. And I'm not ignoring you. I just want to get this paper down, and then I'll go back and look at your questions. Remember, I offloaded over here and then carefully worked my way up to that edge. And now I'm going to carefully put that paper down. I'm giving it a slight tug, but not too much of a tug. This is such a pretty feminine pattern. And I just saw somebody on our Savvy Sister could decoupage some really cool hats. And I think these napkin designs would be super pretty on some of those hats. Okay, we're halfway done, you guys. So again, we've got this little ridge over here that I want to be sure I get product in. And you guys, when you buy decoupage tissue from me, whether it's rice paper or tissue paper, or napkins now, I always include written instructions on how to do the iron-on method of decoupage with every purchase. And the reason why I mention that is if you've got wrinkles after doing this, and it looks like these have all smoothed out pretty nice, but if you do have wrinkles and you are unhappy with it, then you can do the iron-on method when you're all done, and they will smooth right out. Love this, you guys. Love, love, love. What a beautiful gift for somebody. Especially if you find a lovely book like this one, Steinbeck. And I don't look at it as that we've damaged a book, because we haven't changed the integrity of the book at all. We haven't torn pages out of it. We've just removed the cover that the manufacturer puts on it. Again, starting in the center and working out. So we haven't changed the integrity of the book. I mean, if it was a first class edition, I wouldn't do it. But if it's been republished 100 times, at that point, what does it matter? Like, I do have some first edition books of Diana Gabaldon. She wrote the Outlander series, and I have first editions autographed, and they're worth a lot of money. They've been worth a lot of money before she ever got her TV series. I haven't checked since she got her TV series. Do you guys read any of Diana Gabaldon? She's a really good author. And I told my daughter, if anything happens to me, don't take those books to the Goodwill. I have a lot of books, and most of them can go to the Goodwill, but those books, that would be a sad loss. Okay, so another point, if you haven't done much decoupaging, is when your paper gets wet, it stretches. Paper has elasticity. And so when you get it wet, it stretches out, and that's why you'll see wrinkles sometimes. But when that paper, I don't know which one, but one out of the set of 3 books, I'm thinking about using the two-step crackle. Now this paper did stretch because I didn't have this much of a border available to me. So that's interesting. So I'm going to flip over this side, and I'm going to put that border down first on this side. Now this would be one of those places that you would not want your medium to turn yellow over the years, because you would definitely see it. And I didn't touch that up with the paint. I was using drop cloth was the color, but I'm thinking right at this moment I've committed, and I don't think it really matters because it kind of looks pretty on top of that blue. And I want to take my scissors, and I think I'll do the other edge and then do my cutting. And I'm just trying to get just the edge. I don't want a whole lot of overlap on this. I would love it if somebody made me one of these. So you guys, we got so much done up north at the cabin, and I haven't posted all of the pictures from that whirlwind yet. But it's inspired me to do some of my own home projects that I have just been putting off. So you guys are going to be seeing some of my own home furniture that needs refinishing. I'm going to paint my front door. I'm going to use the Wise Owl 1 hour enamel because, like I said, it cures 90% in 1 hour, so that door will be completely usable in an hour, and then it continues to cure for the next 30 days, that last 10%. That's just amazing, I think. So I'm going to repaint my door, but they have, purple is my favorite color. And they have the most gorgeous shade of purple I've ever seen. And I have 10-foot ceilings in my home. And the bathroom where the toilet is, just the wall that you walk into, I want to paint that wall that the wall that the toilet is actually on. that purple. And then I have, in my bedroom, I have a mahogany chest that I got at a auction that came from England. And I want to paint it a pretty green. And at one point in my artistic life, you guys, I was designing wrought iron beds, and I was preparing to start and launch my own bed company, and I had several prototypes ready to go, and I had an appointment with the web designer to come start building my website, and my dad died, and everything came to a halt. I just couldn't go on with it. So the prototypes of those beds are in my own home. One is a really beautiful canopy bed, and that's in the guest bedroom. And then the other bed is kind of indescribable. It's in my bedroom. They weigh a ton because they're made of because I don't have as much to overlay in there as I do on the insides of the book. Take my little popsicle stick and lay it down. Gives it a really nice finish too. I'm glad that napkin was big enough. One of these books I pulled out to do is quite large, and it's probably going to take 2 napkins. It's going to take a little more thinking and planning. And maybe you don't want to decoupage all of your stack. Maybe you only want to decoupage 1 and have 2 of your books painted a color with really pretty embellishment on the bindings. So just think about how you want to finish your piece, because you got lots of choices and options. I'm gonna lay that piece over first, trim it down a little bit more like I did the other one. Are you guys still here? Or am I just sitting here crafting by myself like I do a lot? It's crazy. I did finally make it to Hobby Lobby before I went up to the mountains. So I have my wreath and my hardware and stuff for that crackle shelf that I did before I went up the mountain. And I'm anxious to get that finished. But I wanted to have a new project for you guys today. I didn't want to, I'll tape that and put it up on my YouTube, finishing that up. And I thought, well, you guys have seen me painting bathroom floors, a whole entire kitchen of cabinets, that dresser and that black dresser with the black anchor silk in the downstairs bedroom. Oh my gosh, that's such a pretty piece. That the next trip up there, I'll decoupage. Okay, you guys, isn't that pretty? Give me some hearts if you like it. Let me check. We're a little over on time. Let me go back and see what questions you guys all have. You guys have been chatting away. Okay, Peggy, you said, you asked what I was using for my anchor coat, and that I'm using the Dixie Belle Satin. And you can also use the Wise Owl. You can also use the Wise Owl as well. The varnish is excellent, or the 1 hour enamel. Thanks, Kathy. I think it's pretty paper too. Hi, Gracie. Thanks for joining us from Washington, D.C. Barbara, Linda, Diane, Micheline, I thought you were leaving us. We all have to write notes to our kids. This is a keeper. Yeah, you're right. I think the crackle would be pretty on one too, so I'm gonna try it out, and you guys, I'll film it when I do it, and then I'll post it up on the YouTube. But I think this turned out super, super pretty. And one thing I did do, let me see, yeah, this is the front of the book, and I made sure that the writing on here was facing the right direction from the front of the book. And there are a few wrinkles on here, but you guys, it's going to settle down when it completely dries. And if there was anything on here that I was, oops, that came undone. Let me go back and secure that. If there was anything on here that I was unhappy about wrinkle-wise, I would just use the iron-on method with parchment paper and smooth it down. So if for any reason I had a spot on it that I was unhappy with, that's what I would do to repair it. But this looks good, and I think it's going to be just fine. Now, it's not done. I just stopped for a minute to check your questions. Kathy, you've got Harry Potter books. They have to be as valuable, or maybe even more so, than the Diana Gabaldon. Hi, Vanessa. Thanks for hopping on. I will make sure I get the beds in one of my upcoming videos because they are really, really gorgeous. Let's see, Vanessa, you started decorative folding book pages. Oh, I've seen some of those, and they're on my I gotta do list. Gracie, thanks so much. That's always nice to hear. Working on cleaning a project and listening while you eat dinner, multitasker. Lisa, you sound just like me. I watch a lot of YouTube. And when I'm in here in my craft room, I have a TV in here, and that's what I do, is watch other crafters while I'm crafting. So, Micheline, you were going to do the replay on the start as you missed the papers? Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't want to miss those papers. Those papers are stunning. I'm so happy with them. Oh, Beauty for Ashes, my friend Nature. Glad to see you. Okay, Micheline, you said you did that with your little tote and you used the parchment paper and ironed it a little. Yeah. And you're cooking and watching. What's for dinner tonight? Okay, you guys, so this book actually needs another coat to protect it. And so I'm going to let it dry. And to let it dry, I'm just setting it like this so that the air gets around it, and let it dry. And then I'll come back and put another coat all over the whole book using the satin top coat. And then after I've done that, then I'm going to just use the wood glue. And you see how this is set up? It was real flexible when I took it out of the mold. But I'm going to, now that we have this all done, I'm going to use the wood glue and glue it down on here. And then I will paint over it, and I'll let you know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to add to this video that we've got today, because we're running a little over, all the steps to finish this book. And then I'll post it up on YouTube. I'll put a link on Facebook so you can find it, and then I'll post it over on YouTube. So, what do you guys think? I'm loving it. And I'll show you with the other books. So here's my book stack. And I don't know if I'm going to decoupage all of them, or I painted all of them, but I might leave like the one in the, I might just do maybe a binding on this one, this book right here. I might just do the binding like they did on it. I think it's kind of a cool idea. And then maybe decoupage the one on the bottom. And then I'm going to do more molds, because there's some beautiful designs in these molds, you guys. And if, like I said, I'm not a retailer for IOD. I carry the Prima molds, but I think these were just beautiful, and I just had to have them. Like, I really love this one. So I got them, but also, like, if you weren't doing a decoupage design on the top book, or even if you were, I love birds, you guys. Birds are like my thing. And I pulled this one out because I thought it would be really pretty to do birds across whatever book ends up on top of a stack. I thought it would be really pretty. And you can get Christmas molds too. And if you did like a Christmas, like pine cone design or tree design on your top book, wouldn't that be pretty for a stack for Christmas time, for Christmas decorations? So there's all kinds of really fun, clever things. And you can see this took us less than an hour with me chit-chatting all the way through it. And it's stunning. I really love it. And you can use those napkins on everything. You can use those napkins on furniture, on the insides of drawers, like what I'm going to do with the bears on that dresser. You can do these on the inside of drawers. I mean, it's limitless. And these napkins are $2 a piece, you guys. So super reasonable. So let me just wrap it up here. Yeah, Peggy, I love anything with a bird. Peggy, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. Fajitas, I'll be right over. So let me bring the camera up. I'm done with the project. I'll bring the camera up and tighten it up. One more Tuesday live is done, you guys. Hey, Mary. Yes, you're going to have to go back and watch for sure, because it turned out pretty nice, I have to say. And hi, Mickey. Well, go back and watch the replay, you guys. I I showed how to pour the resin mold, and I'll glue it on, and I'll finish this up and post it up on YouTube, Facebook and YouTube for you guys. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for faithfully following me. I appreciate it. And if you were interested in any of these tissues, please support my business. It's what gets me through my budget, from Social Security to being able to pay my bills. I used to be able to put gas in my car, but you know, I know just like the rest of you that you're putting gas in your car and trying to put food on your table. But if you have a couple of bucks left over, please support my small business. It really means so much to me. So you guys have a great night. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Bye.